The Doug Rising Show. Well, the Doug Rising Show. Well, the Doug Rising Show. And I'm Doug Rice. Don't keep the applause going for too long. Good morning, Doug Rice. That's me. Good morning, folks. 7:01 in the morning on 19th. It is October 19th. Whoa! I mean, it was what? February. Just minutes ago. And my God, thank you. You're here for the show. You know, I got bit by a scorpion this morning. Early this morning, I got bit by a scorpion in my bed. And let me just tell you, because I got it said, it is painful and mind-numbing. When I went to the hospital, went to the emergency room, I'm all right. Little tiny baby scorpion, got the little left side of my hand, a little numb. But now I feel closely associated with scorpions. No, I'm just kidding. Turning into Scorpion Man or something. But, you know, I do have a penchant for stinging people. So, I don't know. Take from that what you will. How are you? So, I got a new Patreon account. I have a new Patreon account, and I'm very, very happy about the Patreon account because the old Patreon account, is it Patreon or is it patron? As an English aficionado, I simply must know, is it patron or is it Patreon? Either way, I got $5 memberships. And, you know, for some content that may not be for, you know, the kind of folks that we want to read. I'm just joking. So the new Patreon is patreon.com. And wouldn't you know it, The Doug Rice Show. The Doug Rice Show. Yes, I'm typing. I am editing as I'm getting this going. So I do feel good about that. Now, so Patreon is now updated. There is a $5 membership. I'm going to start doing some serious writing. And for those of you that enjoy what I read, you must take part in the thing that I need. I have to write it. I've missed it for so long. And I'm on the platform called Medium. And they are so wrong because they're not, well, you know, they're not friendly to Negroes that are open with their opinions and resistant to others. And that's me. That's what I am. All right. So today is chapter 3 of a phenomenal publication and one that I will hope to provide for the Negro Nation. I love doing that. Nature knows no color line. Nature knows no color line. Now, this is day 3. Let me say as well, this is the longest series I've done. I've never gone past 2. But because this publication is so rare, it is not a publication you can just go get right there. It's one that you have to seek out. And of that, have no doubt. You'll not find this freely available. And in fact, it can be quite inassailable. But for you, the lucky few who are here, if you are so inclined to lend me your ear, you'll not only get every inch of this book, then hopefully it don't make you too shook. You'll also be able to order it. You'll be able to have it for your own electronic PDF. Now, we would hope that you use the connections, the links below to show your support for the Doug Rice Show. But I do not hold information back from any Negro, and that's a fact. So if you simply ask, I will also just send you a PDF. I won't send you a bunch, but I'll send you one free PDF because, hey, that's just me. And if you want one, this is the one you want. Nature knows no color line. Now, we were on chapter 7, and chapter 7 was a bit much. We're going to go on to chapter 8 and such and thus, but, you know, if I don't have what it takes, I don't know if I'm able to stay on as late because, you know, they gave me some sort of medication that, you know, kind of mess with your head a little bit. But the photos are what gets me. The photos are worth $1 million. And we're going to focus on this just a little bit because this one made me holler right here. Yeah, Lucretia, let me take that away. Hold on so you can see what it say. Boom. Lucretia Bourgeois, daughter of Pope Alexander IV, with her favorite. Now let's discuss what we're looking at, shall we? If this is her favorite, that means it took that person a long time to get to be her favorite. Now I want you to imagine Esther Rolle. I want you to imagine in your mind from Good Times, James Evans' wife, Florida. I want you to kind of put that in your mind and look at the subtle indication of being a grown woman. That's not a child. And that's a giant she's standing next to. I found that most disturbingly verifying. So this is what we're going to be going through. The rest of this, we're going to go to chapter 8. Again, a lot of stuff that we saw yesterday was simply magnificent. This is stuff that's been painted in 1599, 1641, 1471, 1528. These were considered Negroes everywhere throughout Europe except the Caucasus Mountains. We need to establish, folks, that the Caucasus Mountains completely kept behind the face of them, the wild people that the whole rest of the earth did not want to escape from. And upon their escape, they affected the entire earth. And it is an established history that the world kept at bay these affected Neanderthal Huns. And that's just a fact. They were wild, they were heathens, their practices were not normal. And it wasn't even wise to do business with them. Before they escaped and began to infect Europe and into Rome, that's when, this is when Negroes were, for God's sake, even considered amongst whites. Negroes were our, if you will, race. Found that extremely interesting. Let's continue. More stuff. So we're going to go to chapter 8. There's a dancer. Weren't they great? And can you guess who is the Negro in that photo? I'll give you a minute. Who is the Negro? You know it ain't the dude. Okay. All right. Chapter 8. Before it gets too late. Now, I know that this kind of topic may not be the kind you might associate with we. And I mean in the sense of ancestry combined with the word Negro amongst Europeans. How does that go, right? What are you seeing? Well, let me, kind of edify you just a little bit. It seems that Negroes were the shit. Now we're going to find this out. Here we go. Negro ancestry in the fence. And let me see if I can make that a little bit bigger. I think I can. Moors, as was seen, invaded France in the 8th century and remained there until the 12th, when they were absorbed into the population. So the opening salvo of chapter 8 establishes this point. The Moors, and we've established beyond reason the Moors are Negroes. Let's not pussyfoot and beat around the bush. We're discussing Negroes here. All right, specific individuals, Negroes. Negroes are not Hamites. Negroes are not even African. Negroes are something unique, and that's why it's in the Bible as such, not the Negroes. The Moors, as was seen, invaded France in the 8th century and remained there until the 12th, when they were absorbed into the population. 5 centuries later, in 1609, this stock was reinforced by the entry of about 1 million more who came in on the invitation of Henry IV on their final expulsion from Spain. So Moors came in more. I just thought I'd do that. They settled in the Auvergne where their strain is still evident in the general population. There's a strong Negroid strain in many Avonese, that's right, and says John Gunther. Among those of Moorish stock with such noted figures as Bertrand de Gusselin, Charles Bernadotte, Napoleonic Marshal and King of Sweden, Joachim Murat, Napoleon's brother-in-law and the King of Naples, and Pierre Lavelle, twice Premier of France. Lavelle was an avant and rather Negroid in appearance. Let me just stop. Are you guys catching this? It just seems that in this time of what they might consider this, I don't even know if this is a Renaissance period, but it just seems that the placement of Negroes within European society, and I'm almost kind of stabbing at this European society reflecting nothing of the European society we see here. Very interesting. The transactional, interactional, intersectional, the things that Negroes do amongst these individuals that I don't believe at this time were considered white. It's an interesting development what's happened. And now the Moors, in addition to the Moors, were the Negro slaves. Why is this important? In addition to the Moors, who were Negroid in appearance, were the Negro slaves and Negroid Levantines, brought in by the Christians in the 13th century and earlier. Ethiopians, Moors, Turks, and Greeks furnished chiefly the crowd of slaves in the homes of the wealthy, says Mathares. Later, when modern Negro slaves started in Portugal, about 1440, the number of Negro slaves as well as free Negroes increased in France. Stop. Folks, why not just use the word Hebrew and get it over with? Seriously, because that's what you're looking for. In fact, why don't you really get detailed and down into it and just say tribe of Judah so you can get to it, so that you can take those people, enslave them far away, and then use this long-winded pincher move involving 2 world wars to place European Ashkenazi imposters into Palestine, formerly Judea, formerly Negroes territory. I'm going to say it again, folks. This is about Negroes. Turmoil we experience on this planet is about the displacement of Negroes and taking their land. And the Palestinians are fighting the Ashkenazi imposters to fight over that important resource where all of their holiness is. No, all of our holiness is. They're going to have to get the hell out the way, too, while I'm at it. Next. Oh, yeah. I feel good. They gave me some kind of pill. We'll see if it works still. All right. Sorry. The principal slave ports were Bordeaux and Nantes. Mathados says, dating from Henry IV, 1553 to 1610, the arrival of Negroes multiplied in France. They came in droves to fill the gaps left in the population by the wars of Louis XIV. He adds, the maritime ports were not the only places we find mention of them. We find also records of baptisms of Negroes born in Africa in the registers and parishes of the interior. The ship captains, ambassadors, and admirals brought them to France and used them for various purposes. In Orleans, there was a college for the blacks and a street was named in their honor. Most of the female slaves were white. Interesting, says Louvise. They were brought chiefly from where? The region of Black Sea in southern Russia. So where are white people coming from? Russia. Where are white slaves coming from? Russia. Caucasus Mountains, Russia. Now we've got in that Caucasus Mountains, and let's not deny, nothing in this damn place escapes my eye. There's something under those mountains snatching them people, experimenting on them, throwing that Rh negative DNA and releasing seriously tainted hybrid human beings that we can relate to this day. This is not something that's going to go away. We got some folks walking around this planet that are not folks walking around this planet. We got to get to it. And so we can get through it. I'm back. I apologize. There we go. Yeah. Nantes and Bordeaux had many Negroes. In the Caveau de Saint-Michel at Bordeaux, I saw the mummified bodies of 2 or 3. One of them, La Negresse, for whom a small town was, so they got a town named Negro. We on the move. For whom a small town was named. He has a railroad station with that name. In Toulouse and Salem de Iselgour, a nobleman married Cassius, a Negro, whose descendants married into some of the leading families. Mulatto descendants of Zenon, a Negro, still live in the town of Bonny-sur-Loire. Some are old men, others children. Most of them are a whitish yellow, their Negro strain showing most in their hair, nose, and lips. Zenon, who came from Ile de Bourbon, Africa, passed for rich, and many children by the white girls of the village. Passed for rich, okay, and had many children by the white girl. Oh, he passed for rich. All right, the Negroes were well received, especially in military circles. Marshal Saxe, Prince Maurice of Saxony, had a brigade of jet black Africans commanded by Jean Hiton, a Negro who served as his bodyguard. Mounted on white horses and colorfully uniformed, these blacks were one of the great sights of Paris and Versailles. They served with distinction in the Flanders War. Now, look at the high esteem that we typically have been held in, especially regarding European whites. And now when we talk about Europeans, we're talking about actual people. We're not talking about these individuals that slowly but surely kind of turned the worm of how people thought about skin and for a purpose. Slavery was about the enslavement of Negroes needed more of an ability to tell them apart. I think this is nearly a work of art. Very, very interesting. Very interesting. Coeur d'Avoue, French ambassador, had a bodyguard of 140 Negroes, picturesquely dressed as his bodyguard. In 1644, when he went to Germany to help write the Peace of Munster, he took them with him, creating a sensation when they accompanied him into the cathedral to worship. Napoleon also had many Negroes, some of whom fought in Russia. They had such names as Black Pioneers and Royal Africans. The latter, a cavalry regiment, served in Italy under General Hugo, father of Victor Hugo, and helped capture Fra Diavolo. After Napoleon's conquest of Egypt, Negroes were brought in numbers to France and served under the Marshal Kleber. Negro women were also imported from that time for the brothers. Napoleon had at least 12 Negro and mulatto generals. One of the most renowned of his earlier officers was Joseph de Manique, an unmixed Negro called by Napoleon Hercules because of his size and strength. French Negroes rose to other high positions. One, Aben Ali, was private physician to Charles VII. Let me see. Types of Negro soldiers of Napoleon. Black pioneer. I don't know if you can see that. That is a rough drawing, but this kind of gives you an idea. So, you know, we sometimes walk about, I'm gonna stop, just pause right here so I can shout. We sometimes walk about assuming that the folks that we face have every association with racism and racist ideology. And we do that sometimes to our own peril. Now, look, 99% we're white, we're right, and they're white, and that's it. So, okay. But there are societies, there are entire civilizations that don't have that kind of association with whiteness being superior. It's still difficult for us to look upon them without an impressed upon attitude simply because of what they've done to us. I recommend, if possible, or if in the future, if we do leave this place, we have to understand that every white face that looks back at us may not be associated with the white face we expect. All right, I just thought I'd throw that out there so, your mental, you can protect. Okay, we're good. There's a record of the generous fee paid him by the king for having cured him. Can I make that bigger? Nope. Still another physician. Nope. Wait, can I? Hold on. Hold on, folks. I want it to be bigger. Okay, there. Still another physician, Francois Vernier de Pasquet, was private physician to Ferdinand VII of Spain, when the latter was in exile in France. De Pasquet, born in France, part of Haitian parentage, was also professor of pathology, a regimental surgeon major, chief surgeon of the Paris police, and chief health officer of France. He compiled a medical dictionary also. Others became favorites of royalty and nobility. Annie Baba, an ex-slave, was adopted by Louis XIV, baptized into the Christian faith by the celebrated Bishop Bossuet, by the king in attendance, and gave the royal surname. Marie Antoinette had a young Negro favorite whom she christened Hamilcar, after the father of Hannibal of Carthage, in a ceremony in the royal chapel at Versailles. Now, can I ask y'all a question? What they doing with these folks? Look, man, these are white people. I'm just going to speak plain. I ain't trying to save no space that I can protect in social media. These are white people. What do you mean? Her favorite. Her favorite for what? Her favorite for what? Let's just get to the nitty gritty of it. I mean, you import us. Were we not slaves even in that respect? It doesn't matter how much you honor a prisoner. It doesn't how much you regard someone you will not let go. It doesn't matter the value you place on something you own. And I just can't seem to leave that alone. I need to know what they were doing with these people, because whatever they were doing, it wasn't good, and we know it, because that's not what they do. And what they've done since we've known them affects poorly me and you. Listen, we got to get away from these creatures. In order to become our complete, holy Negro self, we must be set apart. All right, I'm medicated. Leave me alone. I'm having fun. All right, here we go. I'm sorry. Madame, I got it, right? Madame du Barry had a Negro favorite, Zamora. What is it? And then we got folks named Zamora. We got folks, I'm looking at all the names that we've adopted and somehow gotten to call ourselves. Just interesting. Who was a governor of her chateau and was so spoiled that Louis XV not only deferred to him, but was complacent in sharing du Barry's favors with him. A painting by Moreau Lejean, Fête à l'Ovation, shows Zamora being fed candy by a grande dame. Zaga, another Negro, was one of the great impostors of history. Born of humble parents in East Africa, he convinced Catholic missionaries that he was the rightful heir to the throne of Ethiopia. Brother had game. On his father's death, he said he had been driven out by a usurper. The missionaries gave him letters to the Pope, and he arrived in Rome, calling himself Zaga Christ. This dude did not call himself Zaga Christ. Zaga! Okay. Urban the VIII installed him in a palace and later sent him to the great Cardinal Richelieu, who presented him to Louis, who lodged him in royal style. Jet black, handsome, fascinating, and dressed in costliest Oriental robes, he was a favorite with the ladies. He died in 1638, at the age of 28, and was buried beside the Prince of Portugal. Now, hold on. What happened to him? Hold on. What happened to him? Well, that's kind of nondescript ending to a life that has a lot of lending. I mean, what happened to him? Did he just die? He was 28 and he died. Somebody caught up with him. Somebody found it out, and that was it. I have no doubt. Negro men and women mated with royalty. Negro men and women mated with royalty. Negro men and women mated with royalty. Why? Robert D. Epps. What? Am I tripping or is it me? Robert D. Epps, son of William III, married a Sudanese princess, Ismeria, who attained such fame that a shrine was built to her, and she became a black Madonna. Okay, you wanna? Okay, we'll look at it. The celebrated Hottentot Venus, brought from South Africa and exhibited nude in Europe. She was a sensation. She had several white lovers. She and her projecting buttocks set a fashion among women who, in imitation, wore a bustle or large pad over their hips. And why did they do that, ladies and germs? Because they don't have ass, typically. This figure of her was modeled from life and is in the Musée d'Homme et Paris. Her labia minoria, not shown here, thank you, were a sensation too, for what they were like to see sex and race. Wow. So we were a game. Is this what you're trying to tell me? Now I'm gonna tell you something, man. Nothing infuriates me more than having us on display. You know, this dehumanizes us, and I wonder. It's not akin to the Venus de Milo a woman might be posing for. That they are lauding. They're showing homage. This is a caricature. This is something to be shocked and awed about. And so, I would say another nail in their rotting, casket of claiming that they are somehow superior. So I take great exception to having us on display, and that's pretty much all I got to say. Francois de Vendôme, Duc de Chartres, cousin of the king and commander-in-chief of the French army, left his wife and the beauties of the court for a Negro woman. And ain't they acting this out in movies? Y'all seen it? Hey, baby, I'm leaving you. So good, I throw it up like sunshine. And then all of a sudden they calling her and telling his wife that he's leaving you. I'm leaving you. I'm never coming home. Goodbye. Why? Because of this. The first mistress of Louis the 14th was a Negro woman in the household of his mother, Anne of Austria. Louis the 15th, according to police reports, had a Negro son. Wait, even back then, ain't nothing changed. Nothing has changed. This is like reading everyday newspaper. Hey, they keep Kevin Hart around, keep him laughing, they keep him. I'm just waiting to see somebody go up to King Charles that's black and start telling damn jokes like Cat Williams. Please don't. All right, Louis the 14th, police reports. Okay, if this is so, his mother might have been Madame de Saint Helene, a West Indian concubine of the king. Marie Therese, wife of Louis the 14th, undoubtedly had a daughter by her Negro favorite. Okay, Nabu. They named it. Okay. Though neither she nor her husband Henry II showed Negro strain, at least in their portraits. Alencon was so Negro, so different in appearance from his royal parents, that he was hidden as a child, like another royal duke, Alessandro de' Medici, of whose Negro ancestry we are certain. Queen Elizabeth of England was in love with Alencon and cried because she couldn't marry him. Marshal Junot of Napoleonic fame had a son, Othello, by a Negro girl of whom he was enamored. And Madame de Solms of the court of Napoleon III was reported as being especially fond of Negro males. Well, now, I don't really know how to address that seemingly common thread that throws so deeply through all of the women that they've said. Okay, I'll go back. Sorry. And the Louis Sebastian Mercier tells in his picture of Paris how Negro favorites were kissed and caressed by their noble mistresses, and Jacques Delacroix of the same period tells us how they were pampered. When he cries, everybody runs to him. Happy child, thy father groans, perhaps under the blows of the whips. You are the knees of beauty. Your hands rest upon a breast moved by pleasure. A soft caressing hand moves over thy cheeks. Whatever. When these Negroes grew up, they married white women, sometimes of good families. This explains, in part, the number of French families with Negroes in their coat of arms, named Moor, Negre, Nor, and the like. Empress Josephine, the consort of Napoleon, might have had some Negro blood. She was a West Indian, probably of the color of Lena Horne or Josephine Baker. Mademoiselle de Ramonsatt's friend of the Empress said her complexion was rather dark, but she hid it very skillfully, with red and white paint, in the use of which she had an expert. Napoleon himself said that to have had as one of his mistresses Fortenay Hemelin of Saint Dominique, Haiti, of evident Negro ancestry, and with skin so dark and lips so thick she was called the Black Belzie. Intelligent, witty, a wonderful dancer, a splendid horseman, and of exceptional personality, she was called Les Belles Aides, the beautiful ugly woman. What? She was called the beautiful ugly woman. Oh, good Lord. She was Napoleon's chief female confidant and was a figure of more than minor importance in the French Revolution. When Napoleon was leaving for St. Helena, he was given her 300,000 gold francs, an immense sum even now. Later, she was an intimate friend of Count Chateaubriand, famous literary figure. All right, so here is what I got to do. As you can probably hear, my voice and how I am reading is not correct. They did medicate me for this stupid bite. So I'm going to call it a night. I've done this for 37 minutes. You guys get the idea. A lot of Negroes in France. I mean, a lot of Negroes. There are Negroes everywhere. I am going to get well. I am going to recover from this bite. I am going to end this live and again say good night, good morning, because I know yet the sun is dawning. But for goodness sakes, it still doesn't stop me from asking every one of you to support this effort. This is what I do beyond the minimal I can regarding getting the word out. So if you are generous and feel generous, please give to this effort. I am going to leave you to yourselves, and I hope that I feel much better tomorrow. I've never been I've never been stung by a scorpion. I've been here 20 years, but I'm gonna go lay down. You guys have a wonderful day. And I can tell you, if you're gonna be out there in those public places, do me a favor, folks. Get that damn grin off your faces. Ain't no scorpion sting stop that shit.